There's a version of you that has already lost. Not because you were weak, but because you kept arguing with your own mind. In ancient Japan, warriors believed that the greatest enemy was never across the battlefield. It was the noise within. And Miyamoto Musashi, undefeated in over 60 duels, did not conquer men. He conquered the impulse to become his thoughts. This is not a story about swords. It is a story about how to end the war inside yourself. Right now, at this very moment, there's probably a voice in your head. Maybe it's telling you that you should be doing something else. Maybe it's questioning whether this is worth your time. Maybe it's already planning what you'll do after you finish listening to this. That voice? That's not you. But you've been treating it like it is. And that confusion, that identification with every thought that passes through your mind, is the source of almost every internal battle you fight. Today, I'm going to show you Musashi's method for breaking free from that war. And I promise you, it's nothing like what you've been taught. Let me tell you about someone. Maybe this is you. He wakes up already tired. Not physically, mentally. His body moves through routines, but his mind is never where his feet are. At work, he's thinking about escape. At rest, he's thinking about guilt. When he tries to focus, his thoughts argue back. I'll start tomorrow. I need to feel ready. Maybe I'm just not built for this. Every day becomes a negotiation. Every intention collapses under inner debate. He believes the problem is motivation. Ancient Japan would say the problem is identification. A Zen monk would observe him quietly and think, this man is drowning not because of the river, but because he believes he is the water. Musashi would see something else. He would see a warrior who steps onto the battlefield already divided. Think about your own life for a moment. How many times have you made a decision, only to spend the next hour debating whether it was the right one? How many times have you committed to something, only to have your mind immediately start generating reasons why you shouldn't? This isn't a character flaw. This isn't weakness. This is what happens when you mistake the noise in your head for who you actually are. And that mistake, that's what Musashi spent his entire life learning to overcome. Zen does not teach control of thought. It teaches separation from it. Musashi lived in an era where hesitation meant death. On the dueling grounds, there was no room for inner commentary, no space for doubt to speak. So Musashi trained something deeper than technique. He trained no mind, Mushin, a state where thoughts arise and pass, where emotion appears and dissolves, where action happens without the ego demanding explanation. Zen viewed the mind like weather. Clouds pass, storms move on, the sky remains untouched. Musashi wrote, "Do not let your mind be influenced by your body, or your body be influenced by your mind." This was not poetry, it was survival, and it breaks the modern worldview completely, because you've been taught to listen to every thought. Zen teaches you to watch them. Here's the difference, and it's crucial. When a thought says, "You can't do this," most people either believe it or fight it. They either accept it as truth or try to argue themselves out of it with positive self-talk. Both responses treat the thought as if it matters, as if it has authority. Musashi did neither. He simply observed the thought, noticed it, and let it pass like a cloud. The thought had no more power over him than a bird flying overhead. He didn't chase the bird. He didn't try to shoot it down. He didn't argue with it. He just watched it fly by. This sounds simple. It's not, because your entire identity is probably built on the belief that you are your thoughts, that the voice in your head is you. But what if it's not? Your resistance feels personal, but it's biological. The brain evolved to conserve energy, not to build greatness. It generates fear, doubt, and distraction to keep you safe. Zen warriors understood this centuries ago. They did not call it anxiety. They called it illusion. Musashi never tried to defeat his fear. He refused to become it. When the thought said, "This is dangerous," he noticed it. When the feeling said, "You might fail," he allowed it. And then he moved anyway. The war inside you intensifies not when you act, but when you argue with your impulses. Let me explain what happens in your brain. When you have a thought like, "I should go to the gym," and then immediately another thought appears saying, but I'm too tired. What do you do? Most people start an internal debate. They try to convince themselves. They weigh pros and cons. They search for motivation. They try to psych themselves up. All of this is arguing with the mind. And every second you spend in that argument, the mind gets stronger. It learns that it has power over you, that it can delay you, that it can control you. Musashi understood something profound. The mind only has power when you engage with it. Zen does not suppress the mind. It disarms it by refusing to engage. Think of it like this. If someone on the street starts yelling nonsense at you, you don't stop and debate them. You don't try to change their mind. You just keep walking. Your thoughts are the same. Most of them are just noise, random electrical signals, biological reflexes. They're not truth. They're not commands. They're just mental weather. And you don't have to let the weather decide your direction. Musashi's method was brutal in its simplicity. Observe, detach. No affirmations, no self-talk, no internal hype. When modern people try to fix themselves, they drown in explanation. Zen demands something harsher. Silence before movement. Musashi practiced action without commentary. He trusted training, not feeling. The modern mind resists this because it wants certainty first. Zen moves without permission. Psychology confirms it now. Behavior precedes identity. Action rewires belief. Musashi didn't wait to feel fearless. He acted, and fear learned it had no authority. Here's what this looks like in practice. The alarm goes off. The thought appears. 5 more minutes. Most people engage. They debate. They negotiate. They search for energy or motivation or the right feeling. Musashi's method: notice the thought. Don't argue. Don't agree. Just move. Feet on floor. Body upright. Walking forward. The thought will still be there. It might get louder. It might generate more arguments. But you're not listening. You're already in motion. This is the fundamental shift. You stop asking your mind for permission to act. Because here's what nobody tells you. Your mind will never give you permission. It will always have a reason to wait, to reconsider, to delay. The mind's job is to protect you from risk and discomfort. It's not designed to help you grow. It's designed to keep you safe. So if you're waiting for your mind to agree with your goals, you'll wait forever. Musashi never waited. He decided what needed to be done, and he did it. The thoughts about it were irrelevant. Zen warns of one fatal mistake. Inconsistency creates noise. Water that flows continuously carves stone. Water that stops evaporates. Musashi trained daily, not for motivation, but for continuity. No gaps for the ego to reassert control. Neuroscience agrees. Habits weaken when identity resets each day. Zen discipline is not intensity. It is unbroken presence. Every skipped practice teaches the mind it can negotiate again. Musashi allowed no such lesson. Here's what happens when you create gaps. Every time you skip a day, you send a message to your brain. The message is, this is optional. This is negotiable. This depends on how I feel. And once that message is received, the next day becomes harder. Because now the mind knows it can win. It knows that if it argues long enough, if it makes you tired enough, if it generates enough resistance, you'll cave. The gap teaches negotiation. But when there are no gaps, the mind learns something different. It learns, this is non-negotiable. This happens regardless of how I feel. There is no debate. And when the mind learns that lesson, something extraordinary happens. The resistance starts to fade. Not because you've become more motivated, but because the mind stops wasting energy on a battle it knows it can't win. Musashi understood this at a level most people never reach. He didn't train when he felt like it. He trained every day without exception, until training stopped being something he did and became something he was. Ancient warriors prepared before fear arrived. Weapons were checked before battle. Rituals were completed before doubt. Oaths were sworn before temptation. Musashi decided in advance how he would act, so the moment never got a vote. Zen monks still do this. They sit before the storm. They commit before emotion. Modern application is the same. You decide how you train before you're tired. You decide how you work before distraction. You decide who you are before weakness speaks. This is not discipline of force. It is discipline of identity. Let me give you a concrete example. Most people wake up and then decide whether to work out. They assess how they feel. They check their energy levels. They see if they're motivated. This is backwards. Musashi would have decided the night before, or the week before, or the year before that training happens at a specific time. Not maybe, not if I feel like it. It happens. When the moment arrives, there's no decision to make. There's no inner debate. There's just execution of a decision that was already made. This is pre-decision. And it's one of the most powerful weapons against the inner battle. Because here's the truth. Your in-the-moment self is weak. It's tired. It's influenced by immediate feelings. It wants comfort. But your pre-decided self? That's the warrior. That's the version of you that sees clearly and thinks strategically. So you let that version make the decisions. And your in-the-moment self just follows orders. No debate. No negotiation. Just execution. At some point, the voice grows quieter. Not because it vanished, but because it lost importance. The thoughts still appear. Fear still visits. Doubt still knocks. But none of them are you anymore. You act without permission. You move without debate. You train without drama. This is the death Zen demands, not of the body, but of identification. Musashi did not win by overpowering his mind. He won by stepping aside. And what remains when the noise loses its authority is clarity. This transformation isn't dramatic. It's not a moment of enlightenment where everything suddenly clicks. It's subtle, gradual. One day you realize that the thought, "I don't feel like it," appeared, and you moved anyway, and you didn't even notice. It had no weight, no power. It was just noise in the background. Another day you realize you've been training for weeks without negotiation, without internal debate. It just happens like breathing. And slowly you start to understand what Musashi knew all along. You are not your thoughts. You are the space in which thoughts appear. You are not the weather. You are the sky. And once you understand that, once you really feel it in your bones, the inner battle doesn't end. It just stops mattering. The thoughts keep coming, but they're coming to an empty room. There's nobody home to argue with them. There's just action, moment after moment, flowing like water. This is Musashi's method. This is how you break any inner battle. Not by winning it, but by refusing to fight it in the first place. Observe the thought. Detach from it. Act anyway. Repeat until the mind learns that it was never in charge. And then, clarity.